I have finally been sold on Estevao. I don't need anybody to tell me how good that guy is, honestly speaking. Because what I've seen tonight in that game against Tunisia is something that is mind-boggling. And I'll tell you about it. What Estevao did in that game, decision-making, directness, confidence, Charlie, the impetus to stand up. There were 2 penalties in that game. One was played by a young boy who just came to England in his first season, this first season. And another one is by an experienced midfielder that has gone through even other parts of Europe. I think had even played in Lyon or somewhere in France before coming to play for West Ham United. So vastly experienced. But then it was the 18-year-old Estevao that stood up. On a day where Brazil were being suffocated by the Tunisians, the Carthage Eagles, Vini Jr. was in the field of play, Rodrigo was in the field of play, Casemiro was in the field of play, Marquinhos was in the field of play. In fact, name it. Mateus Cunha, all of these big boys in Brazilian jerseys were on the field of play. In fact, you can describe them as the creme de la creme of the current Brazil team. But it was the 18-year-old from Palmeiras moving to Chelsea just this summer that stood up. That is some confidence. It's some impetus. And it is the reason why I think it is time for the jury to be out, the jury to be back on Estevao, because really everything was near perfect on the field of play. And for me, what made the difference wasn't even that finishing of the penalty. It was the decision making. When to pass, when to slow down, when to go quicker, when to go direct, when to go inside, when to stay wide, oh my days, Estevao. He may not be the best player in the world at the moment. He may not be even up to the top 5. But then if you bid some patience with Estevao, he will come good. And I'm very confident that I, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing us. Unsubscribe to the channel and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notification turn and all. Do choose all. Make sure saying time match content to drop. We're the first person to have it. And then we have had a big boom. I told you that we are starting the streak today. And we started with a big boom. We go again tomorrow. We go again on Thursday. We go again on Friday when the weekend begins with club football back Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. When, of course, there is Champions League football all through. I'm confident that every day at least we win a code. Don't stay away from those codes. Every day, go and pick up them and then give yourself a big chance of winning something. Let me see a big thank you to Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. It's your best place for car spare parts in this country. Wherever you are in the country, Yesumo, that's what he calls the nationwide delivery. Call him on 059-313-8221. He's at Abosokai Post Office. That is where Yesumo is. On the other side is my man, MOB Clothing. Anything apparel, anything clothes. MOB Clothing is the guy to call right now. He's at the flower station at Tudu. Call him on 0200 668-708 0200-668-708. Call Yesumo, all right? Call MOB Clothing. Sorry, right away. Let him take very, very good care of you. Tonight, a lot of international breaks, in a lot of international football. In fact, Chelsea have also been linked with 2 midfielders. One that is very certain that Chelsea closing on one in January. We'll talk about possible move of Chelsea's new midfielder and all of that thing. But let's start with the international break and the conversation that has gone on. And starting with our brand here friend Estevao. Estevao, in fact, nearly won that game for Brazil. In the 95th plus minute, Estevao hits the goalpost with some very good tight space control, holding up on the ball, and of course, going directly into that Tunisian defense. See, before this game, Brazil had played against Senegal, a game that they comfortably won. They had to fly to Lille, the northern part of France, to play against Tunisia, the Carthage Eagles. Now, this Tunisian team, for the very long time in international football, they played the African Cup of Nations World Cup qualifiers. Now, they played it throughout 13 games, so they were unbeaten. They won 9 and they drew just 1. What it means is that Tunisia have been a very stubborn, very consistent, very capable team all throughout. Obi Intimation, it was just one game and almost draw 0-0 and then away at Namibia. They didn't concede a single goal. So that tells you the quality of the Tunisian team, and Brazil had to play against them. In fact, my tweety said, anytime you go and you play against any Tunisian side in the northern parts of France, then you are essentially playing against them in their home. Because of immigration, it's humanity. Most of the North African sides now, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, all of these guys have a lot of countrymen in all the northern parts of France. And this game was played in Lille. In fact, for a 50-60 capacity, about 35%, about 35,000 were filled with Tunisians who were in vociferous mode cheering that team on. So, not me surprised the starting game, you know, the Tunisian looked much more clinical, much more direct. And it was an area where the right-hand side of the Brazilian defense, Abrantia, your friend Westy, constantly, you know, or attack side. Anytime he attacks, now Tunisia for no attack the space, no beja to because they know that Estevao didn't even do a lot of the job without the ball. So it was a good ploy from Tunisia for coach, your friend Trebasi, and that's exactly what they did. But when Tunisia went up by a goal to 0, in fact, throughout the game, it was a game where Brazil had a brand new friend of Vinny Jr. They had Rodrigo Goes. They had a brand new friend Estevao, Willian, and they also had a brand new friend Matthias Cunha starting as a striker. But to be very honest with you, it was Estevao, Willian that looked like the one that had a lot of the traits. And for a lot of the times, people have told me about Estevao, Willian. I said that, yeah, he's quality, and I've agreed that Estevao is quality. But I've always been coy about calling and saying that, no, you know what, Estevao stop, and I'm on the Estevao train. But to be very honest, and after tonight, I think that I'm on the Estevao train. To be very honest with you, for a young player, the kind of Estevao, for the stop and starts, for the hold up play, the decision making, I've said it several times, in terms of the ability on the ball, a lot of wingers have it. You can get a lot of them in Africa, can get a lot of them in South America, where he comes from. If I can get a couple more in Europe, there are a lot of them who even have proper education from academies and whatnot. So the boy has the pure talent. I mean, a lot of the people have it. When you see him, you see it. But that doesn't make the difference. See, there was a point in time in the game where I get touchline and I'm the ball in manner. Now the Tunisian player was like 2 meters away from him. Estevao, I'm the ball in man now. Ojina bonus. Waiting for the Tunisian to get close. Tunisian gets it close now. I'm the ball in man. Yes, so you're like a stop start. Tunisian gets it close. It's like he stops, you come, then bam. It's like the change in pace was enormous for Abrantia friend Estevao, and I was pleasantly surprised by that quality of Abrantia friend Estevao. And then there were times where he would be closed down by 2 or 3 players. He doesn't overdo. See, I remember when Chelsea bought Abrantia friend Mihailo Mudryk. One of the big problems I had with Mihailo Mudryk was the fact that Mihailo wanted to do everything at the same time. No person you be at the same time. So when you're born up, say nipa 10 kwana banning chenya. Mihailo person chiyomuna. It is impossible. What Mihailo wanted to do was impossible. There were times where a lot of the times born become Mihailo Mudryk is 2 players. He wants to pass through them. Sometimes just give the pass away, then go and occupy the space and then get into space and receive the ball from there. It is about decision making. Young players most of the times are enthused with the camera and doing the nice thing, the showboating and whatnot. But Estevao is sensible. He is intelligent and he understands decision making. He understands when he has to pass, when he has to go short, when he has to use another player for a wall pass and all of those things. So it's important. It's important. If I don't, of course, it's very, very important. One of Adia Abrantia friend Estevao here, and that's exactly the thing. And that is what you need to do. That is what you need to do when it comes to managing Abrantia friend Estevao. Knowing when to go in, knowing when to get a job. That I think it's brilliant for me. And all the things that I saw for me made a lot of difference to me. It made me feel like Estevao Willian stop. It made me feel that he understood exactly what he's doing. It made me feel that this is a player that I need to get in and get a job done over there because, I mean, he is brilliant. He is brilliant. When I see Estevao Willian, I really, really feel like, okay, Charlie, this is the player that can go for. And I wasn't surprised, coach, your friend Carlo Ancelotti, I mean, after the last game, Omoboy, kept on heaving a lot of praises on Abrantia friend Estevao Willian. This is the game. In fact, in the dying embers of the game, Abrantia your friend Estevao Willian, Brazil had a penalty. And once they had a penalty, Brazil needed to give the ball to somebody to go in and play. And that's exactly what I said. This is a guy that the team that had Vinicius Jr., a team that had Abrantia Efreno, we had Vinicius Jr., had Rodrigo Goes, had Mateus Cunha. Charlie, the confidence was about to go and pick the ball. That is next level, though. I understand Vini has been missing penalties. Rodrigo doesn't really play too much penalties. But what about the senior midfielders that were in the team? What about Bruno Gamerash? What about him? What about Casemiro? What about all of these guys? Estevao picked up the ball. And what a run-up. What a delivery from the penalty spot by Abrantia, your friend Estevao. And for me, he was excellent. In fact, in the second half, the Tunisians tried to close in on him in terms of the number of times when Mane received the ball and where he received the ball and how many times they'll close in on him. But then again, it was a very, very good one for Abrantia and Estevao. And in fact, to the extent that at the dying embers of the game, Estevao nearly got the winner. Estevao nearly converted a very good ball that came across the post and then hits the standing, the far post, and then the game ended over there. But then that is quality. I mean, that is pure quality when you look at Estevao and how well he has been playing his football in terms of the kind of football that Abrantia and Estevao has been playing and all of those things. So he has been top. He has been absolutely top. And he nearly won it for them, especially because in the second half, Lucas Paqueta been a penalty. I don't know Lucas Paqueta say penalty. And this is the experience one. See, Chelsea have on their hand a germ in Abrantia and Estevao. Without the goal, Estevao has been easily Brazil's best player, and he was. The kid is 18. It's unbelievable how he's imposing himself on the game. Charlie, baby, I wish I were exaggerating, to be very honest, because Estevao, anybody that knows me knows that the jury has not been out for me on Estevao. And in fact, the whole game, you realize that Vini doesn't really want to take the ball. In fact, there was a ball where Vini got ball on the other side with Estevao training home man. Totally. It had been Estevao's game. This is fifth senior goal for Estevao at age 18. And that tells you his decision making, like I said, like a 30-year-old. When to give the ball away, because it need to be a chin trying. Sometimes you just have to be sensible. And Estevao's brain works. Hey! Oh, nah. Because I'm asking myself, why is it that Carlo Ancelotti coached the great Real Madrid, never bothered to start Endrick Ramirez? I keep on adding Ramirez to his name. I don't know whether that's the right thing. But he goes to Brazil, looks at Estevao and says, nah, this guy's talent is next level. I'll start him. And against the Tunisians, that's playing in the back five, tight, compact, deep, proper North African style of play. When you lose the ball, counter attack, back, you're in trouble. They keep on coming. They don't stop. And Estevao is keeping the weight against 2-3 players. See, Enzo Maresca watches tonight's game and he's proud. I know that this weekend, because Estevao has played more games for Brazil, he'll probably start Pedro Neto. But I won't be surprised that Enzo Maresca watched tonight's game where Estevao Milan played. And you pay just 29 million pounds for Estevao Milan. That's how much Chelsea paid to Palmeiras for the boy. I'm sure that the big clubs, Real Madrid, Barcelona, everybody's licking their lip. What Estevao Willian is doing on the right-hand side, bro, that is good. If Madrid had gotten Estevao Willian on the right-hand side, gotten Vinicius Jr. on the left, gotten Mbappe in central, that would have been some front three. And imagine Chelsea are going to have Cole Palmer central, Estevao on the right, or Estevao central, Cole Palmer on the right, interchanging, and then having somebody else on the left, maybe Pedro Neto, whoever, to help the team. That will be something else. That will be absolutely insane. That is why, for me, a lot of the people who keep on criticizing the Chelsea project, I keep on saying that they do not understand what our project is made of. They just do not understand what our project is made of, because people like Estevao Willian are brilliant at what they do. Because, sorry. But for this Chelsea project, Estevao Willian wouldn't have been a Chelsea player. I'm telling you, anybody that follows the game knows is that. But for this Chelsea project, Estevao Willian wouldn't have been a Chelsea player. And Danny Murphy says something, or say, if they were to win the Premier League with this youngest average team ever, it would be a validation of the owners and the recruitment policy. It would be changing things for other clubs thinking. I think offensively they are capable of scoring a lot of goals, but defensively I think they don't have it enough. And I think I agree with that. Chelsea's biggest issues this season isn't in the attack. I mean, the numbers are clear, and that's I think that a lot of people underrate Chelsea in terms of how they are playing their football. Chelsea is the best one or the second best attacking team or Premier League in them. And that is the quality that they have in terms of also the quality in depth and of course what Maresca has built. For me, majority of the work comes to Maresca and the solid score that he has been able to build. A squad that's able to get goals from you, a squad that's able to play in different shapes and systems from Enzo Maresca. For me, that is top. And that is the best way to get the best out of the team. And you do that, and after that, you're able to ask yourself, can this team go to the next level? Uti, Darren Lewis, he rules out Chelsea a title contender. He doesn't think that Chelsea won't be my title contenders. Darren Lewis say it's not because they haven't got a lot of exciting talent. No, it's not because they haven't got a lot of exciting talent. But it's essentially because they are inexperienced. That's what Darren Lewis is talking about. That is exactly what the issues are when it comes to Chelsea Football Club. I'll say all the challenges on the job. I think the title contenders have a mix of experience and the young players in the squad, and I don't see that experience here. And I can understand why Abrante's friend Darren Lewis is saying that. I mean, the teams that win the English Premier League have a mix of experience and the youthful exuberance that most of the teams in the English Premier League have. But then it doesn't look like Chelsea have that as it stands now. I think that Chelsea, will be able to manage how they do these things in no time in terms of getting the experience that they need and going in to go and do their job. I think that's something that Chelsea will be able to sort out. But tonight, Estevao just showed that when it comes to experience, when it comes to quality football, when it comes to understanding how things are going on from there, it's important that you show yourself. It doesn't mean it doesn't matter the age that you are in. What matters is that you show yourself and then you are quality and you're able to do the job. That's exactly what they are doing. We'll see how things are going to go on from there when it comes to Estevao and the quality of play and all of those things from there. We'll see how things are going to go from Abrante's friend Estevao. How can you be Brazil's best player at 18? And that's exactly what Estevao is. And everywhere you go on the internet, everybody's talking about Estevao and everybody is giving props to Estevao and everybody is saying, nah, this boy is just something else. He is absolutely something else, something that you just cannot understand in terms of how things are going to go on from there. We'll see how things are going to go on from there. See, John Terry say the pressure has been on Cole Palmer in this last couple of years. The pressure is off him a little bit because Estevao has come in and scoring goals. It's nice, it's refreshing, and it's going to feel like a new signing when Cole Palmer is back when it comes to all of these things. It's true. It's very, very true. When we come to the conversation of how Cole Palmer comes in, when Cole Palmer comes in to come and help the team, get the team to deliver, get the team to score goals, get the team to move to the very top. That's exactly the kind of things that you're going to see when things go on right for Abrante, your friend Cole Palmer, and even Chelsea Football Club. Because, that's exactly the kind of things that we're going to see. Quality stuff from Estevao and quality from the Chelsea team in itself. And for me, I think that I'm particularly moved by the quality that Estevao comes with. When it comes to the quality now, Estevao at the back games, I am particularly very excited by what he comes with. And it's time for everybody to also join the party on Abrante friend Estevao and what he gives Chelsea Football Club. I think that it's going to be a good one. Of course, but of course, on the other side, we have to do some talking also because Chelsea Football have gone in and are trying to sign a new player. Of course, Abrante, your friend Elliot Anderson. The last time I told you, said with respect to the current situation of Abrante, your friend, the current situation of Abrante, your friend Romeo Lavia and Chelsea look like they are going to go onto the market and find another midfielder. And one of them is Abrante, your friend Elliot Anderson. And he has quality, of course, to him together with Adam Watson. I think that largely it's going to go to Abrante, your friend Adam Abrante friend Elliot Anderson, because Adam Watson is a very important player. Adam Watson is Elliot Anderson, somebody that can play in both phases, physical, combating, also wins a lot of duels. So I think that he fits much more the profile before Abrante friend Adam Watson comes. And I think that team friend Chelsea could rather go for Abrante friend Elliot Anderson. And I will not be surprised if in January Chelsea going for Abrante friend Elliot Anderson as a player that they want to go in. We'll see how things are going to go from there. Estevao, they call him the Ginga Bonita. Estevao hits the pool. We are still supposed to believe Lucas Paqueta is better than Matias Pereira just because he plays in England. Carlo Ancelotti and his staff seriously need to consider giving the best Brazilian 10 in Brazil a chance. He has way more intensity, vision, and can actually dictate the midfield. Estevao hits the post. Vinicius Junior Rodrigo have been incredibly selfish today. They have been so unbearable. Lucas Paqueta completely misses the penalty. I thought that penalty again would have gone for Abrante friend Estevao. Rodrigo was already celebrating a goal before the runner. I mean, Estevao something. And that left-footed shot, Estevao is on corners, free kicks, penalties, and in a team with Vinicius Junior, Rodriguez and Matias Cunha. I mean, that is exactly all what I've been talking about today. That is exactly what I've been talking about today. That if you have a team of this quality, and then everybody that's in the team, everybody that's is on the team right now, still it's Estevao that is getting the job done, then that is exactly. Remember, first start for Estevao and the Ancelotti compared to his recent performances, it's like night and day in terms of application, physicality, and imposing himself. Of course, the development is there. As I keep on saying, that Enzo Maresca is doing a very good job. Estevao hits the post. Everybody's talking about Estevao, the quality that he comes with. 5 starts, 5 goals for Brazil, the quality. Just found Estevao's 3 goals off matching Vini's goal tally in his entire Brazil career. He's only started 5 games. That is the quality that Estevao comes with. Everybody is talking about a young boy from Palmeiras. He is the next big thing. He is the next big thing. You can't take anything away from him. He is arguably the greatest player that you can see. In terms of performance in the last series, he just three games off against Tima, your friend, off against player, your friend, Vinicius Junior. People will become tacticals as a formal way to be deep heads. Obviously, I'm not a tactical. That is exactly how things are going to go on for Abrante friend Estevao. That is quality football. That is huge quality football. Here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Guys, let me say a big thank you to you for all the conversation. That is the quality that Abrante friend Estevao has put, and everybody is seeing it. I didn't just talk about it, not just me. And then, of course, I just feel like of course, that's exactly how things are going. And of course, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing us. Until then.